Welcome everyone to the Sunday rune and card reading. Thank you so much for joining me. We have a pretty exciting set of readings, I think, today. Oh, we haven't done them yet. I haven't drawn the cards yet, but as I was tuning into, I guess, my preparation for these readings, I started looking at the astrology for the full moon, which is actually today. I'm recording this the day before Sunday, so it's Saturday today. The moon is full in Aquarius. Now, technically speaking, this is in the northern hemisphere, it's the lunar lammas, and in the southern hemisphere, it's the lunar imbolc. It's the closest full moon to that, to those festivals, to those natural sort of turning of the seasons. Now, I'll talk more about them in next week's readings, but for today, because of the astrological dynamics, we are going to tune into a kind of timeline. Now, I'll grab the chart for a moment. What I should just say, if you've looked at the timestamps, not the timestamps, if you've looked at the thumbnail at the beginning and you already know which reading, in the information box below, I will put the timestamps so you can fast forward to any of the readings. And I'll also I'll put a series of links in there, so there'll be timestamps. I'll put a link to my Facebook page, because I'm posting the daily timings of the moon, along with just a little bit of information about the influence of the overall astrology that day. So, you know, if it looks as though we might get some unexpected happenings, I'll be posting just a little post about that, so you can tune into that on my Facebook page. There's also a link to our monthly draw, so I give away a free private reading and a pack of the Art of Manifestation Oracle cards. It's a first signed limited edition of these cards here. We'll be using them in the readings. We're going to use 2 sets of tarot cards today and 2 different Oracle packs. So I'll put a link for that subscriber draw as well. You do need to be a subscriber. You need to be a part of this amazing community that we're building here. And I say that because this is an amazing community. You only have to just check out the comments. You guys are just the way you share your stories, your integrity, to be honest, your levels of awareness, your support of one another, your support of me. Guys, you're just awesome. So thank you. Anyway, this is why we are looking at the past, the present and the future in these readings. This is the chart for the full moon today. The moon is literally sitting between Pluto and Saturn. She's also then aligned actually very favourably with Lilith and also with the North Node. Now, as are Pluto and Saturn. Pluto and Saturn are both in retrograde. Everything that was coming through when I was starting my preparation for this reading, you can sort of see my scribbling around it, apart from lunar lammas and imbolc. Karmic evolution, rebirth in real terms, reinstatement of entitlement. I wrote, do you believe in your entitlement? There's something about the shift that's available in the energy of this full moon, whether we are being shown something that we need to release from the past, or learn from the past, or build on from the past. There's something about our capacity to be present and available right here and right now, in terms of, again, our sense of entitlement, maybe our ability to receive, and also the future. What are you manifesting? Can you step into a space where you can hold your vision, or more to the point, believe in your vision and trust that it will be delivered? The thing about the nodes is that they really are very much, they kind of represent our human journey that is our life, and the evolution of the soul along that pathway, why we came here, and what our purpose is, what our calling is, what those lessons are. Saturn, restructuring, Father Time, bringing us karmic lessons. Pluto, offering rebirth. And then Lilith, we're tuning in with Lilith here today as well. It's quite, I'm a bit of a passionate Lilith fan. She, you know, the Black Moon Lilith. I always feel she's given a bit of a raw deal. You know, her story is that she was she was, the legend, the story, the myth was that she was made by God with Adam in a position of equality, but because she wasn't compliant, she was banished, and God made Eve from Adam, hence the sort of the extra rib. And so that is how the story goes. And Lilith was banished because effectively she expected her entitlement, she expected her inheritance, she expected to get what she had been born into, which was a position of equality. And because she wouldn't be compliant, she kind of rebelled. So she represents a lot of the wild, untamed aspects of ourselves, the things that we struggle to truly believe we can have, our sense of entitlement. So, and of course the nodes, speaking of our karmic journey. So all of this is the overall astrological collaboration of energy today, and that is why I really was called to be working with both the past, the present and the future. And it may be that all three readings might actually be relevant. I know some of you will often tune into more than one. It may be today that all three have a relevance to you. And you know, it was fascinating. As soon as I started my kind of preparation, which is also just giving myself space in my head to see what lands after having looked at the astrology, these crow feathers just kept popping up every time I kind of thought, the present, the past, where will we go with this? The crow feathers arrived. And so, you know, crows are said in shamanic understanding, crows can travel between the worlds. They can explore the past, the present and the future. They don't have the barrier of time in the way that we perceive time as a constraint. So reading 1 will be the past, reading 2 the present, reading 3 the future. And the crystals I've chosen to align with these energies. For reading number 1, we are using green calcite. Green calcite is known as a memory stone. It helps us to acknowledge and validate the past in order to find resolution, to move beyond it, to learn from it, to build upon it. In the present, I've chosen a piece of honey calcite. This is a stone of leadership. It's also a stone of connection and guidance to our angels. It's said to align, the energy is said to align with Archangel Gabriel. And last of all, I've got a piece of fuchsite. Again, fuchsite is known as a shamanic journeying stone. It helps us to travel between the worlds, to effectively look into the future, to move into the void in order to find the answers and the solutions. So it seemed very appropriate to use fuchsite to offer that additional energy in reading number 3. So wonderful, friends. I think I will now start to draw the cards. We are going to draw from 2 different sets of tarot and 2 different oracle cards as well. So let us use this pack first. Ooh. Okay, we're going to 3. And a second tarot. Just 1 from this pack. I have some very lovely meditation music going on in the background here. So I've been chilling out all morning in anticipation and preparation for this reading. Now these are Native American oracle cards. Lovely colours, really earthy colours coming through here. It's quite interesting because in a way they feel very strong, very solid, very grounded, which is an interesting energy given the fact that this is all about, in many ways, travelling through time. and just one from the Art of Manifestation cards. So wonderful, friends, those are our cards. I'm now going to draw the runes as well. So we have reading number 1, green calcite, the memory stone, orientating from the past in some way, and whether it's moving beyond it, building upon it. Reading number 2, honey calcite, a stone of leadership, a stone of guidance, linking into where we are right now, what's taking place right now, what do we need to do, what do we need to see, what might be illuminated in the energy of this very powerful full moon in Aquarius. And then reading number 3, we are looking into the future. We have the wonderful journeying, shamanic journeying stone of fuchsite, helping us to, yes, travel between the worlds, to step into the void, to be shown any answers that we need in order to be able to perhaps hold our vision. We may even see some very clear guidance in terms of either the next step to take, or indeed some aspect of supporting us in holding our vision, or guiding us to have clarity about our vision for the future. So those are our 3 readings. Wonderful, friends. I'm going to pause the video, arrange the cards so that I can take a photo for the thumbnail. And yeah, wonderful, wonderful, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. And I will see you in the readings. So much love. Namaste. Welcome to reading number 1. And so we are in some way connecting to the past, and we have the wonderful green calcite, the memory stone. Let's look at our runes. So we have the rune of flow and the rune of defense. This is interesting because the rune of flow is all about following our intuition, kind of the ebb and flow of careers, the ebb and flow of emotions, the ebb and flow of relationships. There's something about flowing into a new space and a new phase in your life. Daring to is what I want to say as well. There's something about being able to release the need to know. I don't know, it's almost like you're being asked to take a risk in some way. I don't know whether that's a letting go of the past. The rune of defense is interesting because this sometimes says that we're being tested. There's something around that is a test, and we are, yeah, testing is the right, that's what's coming through here, testing. Whether it's a test of letting go of something, the release of control, taking a risk, maybe. Okay, it must be taking a risk. We have the card of the Fool. So let's have a look at our cards. So we have the universe, expansion. We have the retreat, meditation, and the Knight of Stars. Okay, release negative habits. We have Kokopelli as well, which is about fertility and risk-taking. And we have the Fool, which is also about risk-taking, new beginnings. I feel as though there is, or has been, a block around you. Now, it does go back to the past. That is absolutely certain and for sure. For some of you, it's historically going back through lots and lots of things that have happened. I'm seeing layer upon layer upon layer. But you've also, what I'm also seeing is you've been peeling back the layers. It's literally, it's like a book opening, and layer upon layer upon layer, peeling back layer upon layer upon layer. Let's tune into the universe first of all. So this is the equivalent of the card of the world in the major, in more traditional major arcana tarot packs. It's a completion, but also a beginning. It's like, I feel like you've had enough of something, okay? Whether it's something that just keeps replaying in your head from the past, a memory of such, or whether it's you've been entrenched in some pattern, thinking pattern, behavior pattern, whether you've literally are just emerging something in your world that's really quite recent, but I do think has possibly gone back quite a while. Maybe you're coming to a recent completion of events. Something's coming to an end. It needs to. It's completely right that you move into a space of new beginning. This is absolutely about you flowing into a new pathway. Now, you need to take some time to evaluate. Don't rush, but simultaneously be prepared to step into the unknown. It's almost like practice the art of allowing. The Knight of Stars, adventurer. Take a risk, take a risk, release negative habits. This card says we all form habits and patterns in our lives, whether in thought or in action. But like a pair of old comfortable slippers, there comes a time when they outgrow their value to us and we must let them go. Do something different today that shakes you out of your usual ways of responding and have fun doing so. What I'm being shown here, it really is like a book. It's like peeling back layer upon layer upon layer. Even if you are coming out of or coming to a completion or the ending of something, it's even if that was really, really recent and you're just in that space of ending now, you're also, in many ways, you kind of, part of what got you into that situation was also the past. It was past patterns, past thinking patterns, family attitudes, whatever, wherever you are. It's literally, this reading is saying it's time to move beyond, actually move beyond your fears as well. It's time for you to expand. If you're finding that something is going on around you, if somebody is pressing your buttons, crossing your boundaries, it's time to say no. The Rune of Defense. The Rune of Defense is interesting, especially with flow. It speaks to us of needing to be patient. It's a real paradox in this reading between being able to sort of practice the art of allowing and yet simultaneously take a risk. Be patient, and yet also, you know, we need to decide. We are deciders as well as doers. Be patient, but make decisions and still take the steps needed to follow them through. So it feels like you're being asked to be both sort of passive and active at the same time. And I think the balance here, and it does feel balanced actually, it's to do with overcoming some kind of a fear, or whether it's a real situation externally or an internal reservation, something that has stopped you from just going out there and trying something on for size. Whatever it is, you're in a space of newness now. You are, or new opportunities. And you're being asked to take a risk and initiate that new beginning. You're being literally invited. It may even be for some of you that someone has appeared in your life or is about to appear in your life who is offering you almost a doorway of opportunity to step into an unknown zone. It's like doing something you've never done before. If you were hurt in a relationship and there's somebody in your world at the moment and you're thinking, oh, I don't really want to take that risk, this reading is actually saying take the risk. It's kind of like you're needing to overcome something, to discover that the world has more to offer you. There is a definite overcoming of something here. I love this. Coccopelli, he is representative of almost like the Joker as well, someone who sort of pulls pranks, causes you to have to take a risk. So if something as well in your world is not working out, again, the Rune of Defense, sometimes it speaks of us developing an aversion to the behaviours and attitudes of people around us. In which case, if that is the case, rather than just getting pissed off with them and sort of remaining hooked into their stuff, just look at it as being really good information. It's time to leave them behind, or put some boundaries between you. and begin to think about, you know, kind of how much time you wish to invest in that circumstance or those people or that person, that group of people. It is literally, there's a turning point. Now, I sometimes do some energy shifting in the reading. In a way, I don't feel I need to do any energy shifting as such. What I do find myself wanting to do in this reading is actually to create a division. It's almost like I want to put a full stop on the past in some way. This card of the universe, release negative habits. I want to sort of put a full stop there and say, right, okay, we're starting afresh now. We are in a space of greater awareness. It's now time to move forwards, to embrace the new. I do wonder if some of you have been hurt in love and you've been reticent. It's been difficult to trust whether someone is coming into your world who will actually offer you an opportunity to discover actually that you can trust again. It's like refinding trust in some way. In which case, do you know, it's really interesting, the release negative habits card, because do you know, sometimes we can sit in a space where we're not really very happy, but at the same time, it's almost like it feels safe just to stay there because something happened before that was so awful. It feels better just to stay in a safe zone, even if we don't really like it. I will give you a good analogy, I think. I remember in my work as a counsellor with one particular person, I have that person's permission to share this part of, it's an analogy that we used, so it doesn't give any information about them. But we talked about being in a dark cupboard, you know, as a child, hiding in the cupboard under the stairs, and it was dark and creepy and full of spiders, and it just felt an awful place to be, but it still felt as though it was safe because there was a need to hide from something that was bigger and more challenging outside. And so it's kind of like metaphorically we can find ourselves in this sort of dark place. We don't really want to be there. We may really, really dislike it. But at the same time, the idea of opening the door and risking stepping out feels like it will just be too huge. It will open us up to the potential of something really, really big or difficult or challenging happening again. This reading is saying the opposite. This reading is saying, look, you know, it's time to put that perspective behind you. It's time to emerge from the cupboard, really, in essence. Don't stay in your safe zone because that will limit you. It's asking you to take a risk in no uncertain terms. And if you're being pushed in that direction, there's purpose to this. Again, the memory stone, green calcite, it helps us to let go of. We don't forget. We should never forget, because if we forget something, then it means we are actually still vulnerable to the same thing happening again. If we remember, but without attaching ourselves to it or living through that lens, if we remember what's happened and we are therefore older, wiser, stronger, it means that we embrace and move into the future with greater awareness and therefore greater strength. So I'm not going to do an energy shift as such, but what I am going to do is clearly create a division between the past and the future. So if you just sit with this as it is at the moment, I'm going to move these cards in just a sec, so gauge how this is feeling for you. I'm going to move these along. This is very much about the future. Moving into the realm of new worlds, as is really governed and guided by crow energy. I'm then going to bring these runes here. So I'm going to have a nice firm set of boundaries here. Sometimes this rune, the rune of defense, speaks about boundaries, but we want you then to be flowing into a new space of being. And these cards, you know, this is the completion, this is the full stop. The past is behind you now. It is a memory, okay? The past is now a memory. This is a completion, but also the opportunity for a new beginning, and it's time to release something and leave it behind. The future awaits, and whatever happens, whatever phase of growth and learning is right for you at the, in the next stage of your evolutionary pathway. Remember, the planetary aspects for this full moon in Aquarius are monumental in terms of supporting us to restructure, to let go of anything that no longer serves us and move into a space of rebirth and greater entitlement. So it's time to move forwards here, and whatever happens, that pathway is beckoning, it's calling. Yeah, it's time to put something behind you. This feels complete. It's got a lovely sense of the full stopness about it. It's like drawing the line. That bit's over. You don't have to live through that lens anymore. That is no longer relevant. You don't have to wear that coat anymore. That's the kind of flavour of this reading, reading number 1. So wonderful, friends. So much love to you. For any of you who have not yet tuned into them, I have done huge 3-monthly readings that span July, August and September. They are available on Vimeo and also via my own website. So there's also a playlist of the overviews of all of those readings as well on YouTube, so I will add those to the comments. So in the comments for phone users and in the information box, I will put all those links. There'll be links to the YouTube playlist where you can check out the overviews, links to Vimeo and my own website to check out the big readings, the 3-monthly deep dives. There'll be the Facebook page for those of you who are really passionate about manifesting with the moon and want to know where she is every day. There's also the email list for the subscriber prize draw, monthly prize draw. I think that's probably everything. Oh, and I should just say, guys, if any of you are on any of my email lists, we will be setting up a page for the 2022 Astro-Moon Art of Manifestation, Astro-Moon Diary and Journal. And we won't be shipping out until I think September, but we will be setting up the pre-order page, which gives a really lovely discount if you're buying them. Although obviously there's postage involved if you're not in the UK, so you have to sort of bear that in mind. It may be cheaper to buy from Amazon, but nevertheless, they will be. We should get that up and running literally within the next week or 2 weeks for the pre-orders. So, this year they are all the pre-orders that come from us. I'm going to sign them all, so they will all be signed copies. So if you want to get those, again, if you're on any of our email lists or my email lists, or watch out for Facebook, and I'll make an announcement on YouTube as well. So yeah, if you are subscribed and you want to get any notifications of any of the videos that I upload here on YouTube, including the one about the new diary and journal, press the little bell icon as well as subscribe, and that way you should get that coming through into your stream. But yes, I'll put all those links in the information box and in the comments for phone users. And yeah, if you're on any of my email lists, you will get an email as soon as the diary and journal are available to pre-order. So wonderful, friends. This feels like a really exciting new beginning. It's like the universe opening doorways for you and helping you to kind of close some simultaneously. Wonderful, friends, so much love to you. Namaste. Welcome to reading number 2. So this is present energy. Let's see what we are shown. We have the energy also of honey calcite, leadership. Okay, so we have the rune of strength. This is about terminations, new beginnings. It's a rune of, often a transition. I always feel like when I draw this rune, it means the universe has my back. So whatever you're shifting in, whatever change is taking place, sometimes it's like slow and steady progress. But one way or the other, it's kind of like you're moving into a space of new growth, or you've outgrown something. And yeah, I always feel the universe has your back. And this is the rune of disruption. That's interesting because this is the Great Awakener. Now, it's a bit like Uranus, the Great Awakener. Sometimes I think with Uranus we can expect the unexpected. Sometimes with this rune it means that there can be a sense of a need to break free from something. There's a sense of liberation, freedom that's required. Sometimes it's like something comes along and it just wakes us up and we suddenly see something really clearly and we have to act. We can't pretend we can't see it anymore. It can also sometimes be like a gradual coming to our senses. It's like little by little something happens and one day we just wake up and we think, wow, how have I put up with that for this long? Or what's, you know, I can suddenly see that really clearly. How come I haven't noticed it before? It's like a gradual build up, whether that's an erosion or a building up of something. But something has to change here. So interestingly, these readings are really saying, or this reading is saying, something is needing to change. Let's move our runes over here. See where we go with our cards. I'm going to put them down here, I think. So 10 of Trees, Knight of Hearts, Romance is in the air. Okay. Page of Trees, Dreamer. This is really interesting. We then have the card of Unhappiness. We have the card of the Totem and also Page of Wands. This feels for me like it's almost as though you're needing to see something really clearly, to validate something, to acknowledge, to... This is really, really interesting. Let me read this card, Unhappiness. Unhappiness is frequently the result of an inability to live in alignment with the calling of our soul. When this happens, our uneasy and challenging emotions are an indication that we need to listen to ourselves. This card asks you to have faith and to trust. Get still, meditate, and listen to the voice of your heart, and open yourself to receive guidance. There's something here that needs to be nurtured. Now, I think primarily what I really, really want to say to you guys is you need to be nurtured. You need to nurture something that you want or that you desire. Now, we have Knight of Hearts here, Romance, sitting bang in the middle above the Totem. So I feel as though there is the energy of love in this reading, or of relationship. Now, I feel like for some of you, somebody has come into your world and they've kind of lit your world up, but you're either not entirely sure or you're needing to discover kind of who they are and whether they are actually right for you or not. There's something about taking an ownership, again, entitlement, that came through very strongly in the astrology. It's like taking an ownership of what is right for you. Now, for some of you, maybe you've also, if you're in an existing relationship, maybe something hasn't been going well, or you're beginning to see something with clarity and you need to negotiate it from your own position. But there's something, somebody's basically coming, somebody or a circumstance has come into your world, and I feel like your world, it either has been turned upside down, or I would venture to say it's about to be turned upside down. Now, I think this is really, really good, okay, because even though we have the card of Unhappiness, I sort of feel this reading is kind of saying, look, what do you want? What do you want to manifest? If you are single and looking for a relationship, I feel that somebody is either around you already or they're about to be around you. And I honestly think they might turn your world upside down. And it's almost as though you're not sure. You're not sure whether they will be right for you. We never know when we meet someone. We have to try them on for size, and they have to try us on for size, and we have to navigate that. But there's something in this reading that is saying, look, take charge of this. Be your authentic self. Take charge of this, and move forwards. Now, if this reading for you is not about relationships, so I've used the example of relationship with a brand new relationship. If you are single, I do think somebody's about to come in and turn your world upside down. And really, really what you need to do is to focus on what it is that you desire and you want. Be your authentic self. Navigate that beginning, those new beginnings, from a position of authenticity. Stand your ground. Talk about what's right for you. Navigate from that space of entitlement whilst honouring the other person's too. And if it means that this is a short-lived relationship, it can still be amazing and wonderful. And you'll learn and grow along the way, or it will become a relationship of genuine solidity. And you know, you'll build on it and build on it and build on it. Now, if you're in an existing relationship, or this reading, I'll talk in a moment about this reading for other things, because I think if this reading is in reference point to a project of some sort rather than, or a circumstance rather than an actual relationship, we'll speak about that in a minute. If you are in an existing relationship, I think you're with someone who knocked your socks off. And it may be that you're at a bit of a point where you're not really sure kind of what's going on. Something has been either building up for a while, or something has happened that's caused you to see that person in a different way. Now, either just over a long period of time, you've kind of, I don't say woken up. I think for some of you, maybe you've been waiting for the relationship to evolve and it hasn't, or something hasn't happened. You may be witnessing what isn't happening as much as what is. For some of you, you're seeing what is happening. You're looking below the surface. For others, it's what's not happening. But one way or the other, and again, for some of you, it may be that you've seen a contrasting situation. Maybe you've met another relationship and you thought, wow, there's something missing in mine, or I want that, or that there's something going on here that you are being awakened to. And whatever that is, it's time to really look at it, but take charge. Take an ownership of what you want. Have your voice. Choose to manifest that which you want. Okay, really align yourself. This totem spirit is interesting because I think it really encourages us to stand in our own power. It's like the power of our tribe. You may even wish to speak with friends, get support from family and friends to really orientate around what you are looking for, what you desire, what is right for you. There's definitely something that you're being awakened to. Now, if I said a moment ago, I'd talk about this reading from a perspective that's outside of relationships. If you are in an experience at work, or you're in an experience, you know, a circumstance, some sort of living circumstance, or your working world is changing, something is coming along here that is going to wake you up. You're going to see something with clarity. It may be, again, that it's kind of like, you know, when you work and you work and you work, and suddenly, and you know you're the next in line for the promotion, and it goes to someone else, and you think, well, how did that happen? It's there to wake you up. Maybe you're needing to move to newer pastures. Maybe there are other offers on the table, or maybe there is an opening and you're lacking in confidence, in which case it's time to step up. But this is really terminations, new beginnings. The universe has your back. This rune also sometimes speaks of opportunities disguised as loss. So something could be coming to an end. It doesn't feel, I'm not saying for some of you it won't be an ending, but for many of you it feels it's more like an awakening than a definitive ending. It's like something comes to your awareness in a way that empowers you. It opens doorways. It allows you to move forwards. This is very much tuned into your own sense of entitlement and your own belief in and trust in the fact that whatever it is that you desire is not only possible, but it's out there and waiting for you, and that other people will wish to negotiate with you and give that to you. But you've kind of got to be your authentic sense, your authentic self, in order to achieve that. If we can't present what we desire, what we want, then other people can't help us to fulfill that, because they won't be clear about what we need. There's really something about leaning into a space of your truth, ready to dream, ready to create. And something is going on that is going to be turning your world upside down. This is the Great Awakener. I don't know whether it is, as I said, it could be somebody or something that you're already aware of. But if this hasn't yet happened, I think it's imminently going to. Someone is just going to rock into your world and I think throw the doors wide open for you. And yeah, I do feel like it really is a turn your world upside down, knock you off your feet. If this happens in a way that feels like it's, I mean, for some of you, it will just feel mind-blowingly exciting. However, it would then involve having to let go of something. You're going to have to change things. You know, it's that, you know, we can long, I don't know if you're single and you're longing for a relationship. Actually, somebody rocks up and it's amazing, and actually your whole world has to change. You let go of singleness. If you're moving to a new stage in relationship, you're actually letting go of something. Likewise, if a circumstance or a situation is coming to an end, you are being asked to really think about what it is that you wish to create for yourself. Take an ownership of your desires. Really step into that space of entitlement. Now, I do sometimes do some energy shifting in readings. I don't feel like there's any energy shifting to be done. What I do want to do is to bring in, I'm going to bring in a couple of angels that just help to represent that, almost like the move forwards into a space of empowerment. It's like embracing the change, being the change you wish to see in the world, being you, moving forwards into that space. So I'm going to bring in a couple of angels. So the first angel I'm going to bring in is actually a honey calcite angel. So this is this stone, excuse me while I lean across the camera, stone of leadership. Because this, for me, it's not about energy shifting. It's really about moving forwards, embracing your entitlement, giving yourself absolute permission to have, that's pretty much it, to have your dreams. So honey calcite angel, leadership, tigerite. Tigerite is a stone of protection, but it's said to bring good luck to the wearer. Tigerite is a magnificent stone to sit with if you are needing to find the answers to something. You know, meditate with a piece of tigerite, and really helps to bring those answers forwards. But it's more for me about courage, about opening yourself up, leaning yourself into something, embracing your entitlement, your right to have. The unhappiness here is, it's where we're not quite living in alignment with that which we desire, and it's kind of like we know that we want it, but we kind of, you know, often we self-sabotage. You know, when we get close to fulfillment, we self-sabotage in some way. It may even be that comes to your attention. That's the Great Awakening. You suddenly realize what you're doing and you make a decision to step away from that. I also do want to bring in one other angel, which is the green aventurin, because there's something about nurture here as well. It's allowing yourself to nurture your own potential and nurture your own, your own belief in your own possibilities. Again, entitlement coming through. So there is really something about stepping up, taking an ownership, holding that belief and that trust, and thinking really solidly about what it is, what shape do you want a certain situation or a relationship, or what shape do you want it to be? And if something isn't working out, you may need to listen to that in order to have that conversation to change it, or indeed in order to, just actually to let go of something and move forwards. Again, you know, terminations and new beginnings. But whatever the shift in your world, whether you are raring to go or circumstances are actually quite challenging and they're kind of pushing you in a particular direction, it is really, really right that this awakening, this rite of passage is taking place. So I'm going to bring in the green aventurin angel because I just want to soften the energy here and bring in, it feels good, really, really nice. So we have honey calcite, we have tigerite, and this lovely, lovely energy of green aventurin, a real nurturer, really lovely energy that nurtures. Oh, that feels good. Just sitting and seeing, no, this is the right way. nurtures the changes that are taking place and allows you actually to see what you need to see in order to step up, become your own hero, your own heroine, and effectively allow a shift in fortune to take place. Wonderful friends, thank you so much for joining me for these readings. Very powerful. So this is very here and now, very present. And yeah, if somebody hasn't yet shown up in your world, I think it's imminent. But something's going to, rock your world, I think, one way or the other. Wonderful friends, if you are interested and you have not yet tuned into them, I have done a series of huge 3 monthly readings for every sign. They run from July, through August, through September. There's Karmic Pathway relationship cards as well. They are available on Vimeo and on my own website, and there's also an overview, a little overview for every sign, and they're in a playlist on YouTube. So what I'll do is put in the information box and in the comments for phone users, I'll put all of those links there. So you can access the readings on Vimeo or via my website, or you can access the overviews on YouTube. You can also access obviously the subscriber monthly draw, the Facebook page if you're manifesting with the moon. I'll just put all of the links there. And also for any of you who use the Art of Manifestation Astro-Moon diary and journal, we will be setting up very soon we'll be setting up a pre-order for the diary and the journal for 2022. That should be in the next week or two. We won't be shipping out till September, but nevertheless there'll be a massive discount, and this year I'm going to be signing all of the diaries and journals that actually come, from us, from our little store. So if you want a signed one, then do get on that. If you're on any of our mailing lists, actually, if you're on any email lists, then I will you'll get an email as soon as that pre-order is set up. So do join the list if you want to do that. And I'll also put I'll put a video up on YouTube as soon as that's up and running and ready as well. So wonderful friends, so much love to you. Namaste. Welcome to reading number 3. Let's have a look at our runes. So we are looking at the future. Now we have the rune of protection, which is interesting because this speaks about kind of managing our emotions, actually, especially during times of transition. It kind of says don't collapse yourself into the highs and the lows or the intensities of emotion. We also have the rune of harvest. This is a rune of promise. So this is interesting because we have the card of the future, or the indication of the future. We're looking into a space of future possibilities. This is a rune of promise that says that whatever it is that you're dreaming in, this is definitely, on its way. It's happening, but it may not be there immediately. There's something that's going to have to be either nurtured, encouraged, looked after. It's very interesting as well because sometimes the rune of protection speaks of new opportunities. So it may be that, yes, there's something about within this reading already coming through. It'd be fascinating to see how the cards fit with this, but there's sort of a message coming through to do with, it's like holding your vision, holding what you want, but don't be fixed on how you're going to get there. I think there's something about this. I find myself being quite conscious of this, really, in terms of manifestation, that we very often in our goal-orientated world, we kind of think that we have to work out the exact steps. It's like working out a roadmap as to how to get from A to B. But if there's a diversion along the way and we've been really fixed, we can then just sort of sit and wait for that, that, I don't know, if there's a roadblock or something, we sit there and we wait and we get frustrated and cross that we can't move forwards as we want to. Actually, there's a diversion that was a better route, and we were going to get something along the way that would actually enable us to be better prepared or more ready, or even bring in a vision that was, the end goal that would be bigger and better and brighter than even the one we'd imagined. So there's something about the journey here not being too fixed on outcomes. So let's move that card over there. We'll put our runes down here. So 7 of Stars, we have the card of faith. This is interesting because, again, this is often speaking about, you know, having faith, holding your vision, trusting, believing in your vision. This can also suggest obstacles or diversions. We have 6 of Angels, transition, and we have the 6 of Stars, success. We have the Rune of Harvest, success, lovely. Okay, stay on course. Really, really nice. 25. This card is the card, it's the necklace, and it's like a necklace and belt of protection, which is really interesting. You're being guided. There's some obstacles around, or big stuff you're having. That what I'm seeing is, it's like almost like you know, when you've got a certain amount of work to do and the phone never, and you plan your day and then the phone never stops ringing and you just start to get more and more on edge because you're not achieving what you'd expected to achieve. There's something here that's saying, look, it's almost like there's divine timing here around you and a little bit of magic. Something is, it's like, yeah, you're being guided. You're being protected, you're being guided. You need to stay on course. This card says you are facing some big stuff in your life right now. This card is a request that you keep going and stay on course, however challenging this may feel. Please be reassured that right now, this is the appropriate way forwards. The universe supports your direction and slow and steady progress is assured. This is lovely. Again, 6 of Angels, transition. It would suggest that you are in progress, you're in motion, something you've already decided on, something you've already visioned on is kind of being promised here. So whatever that is for you. Now, most of us, I think, are generally speaking probably manifesting or trying to manifest and trying to co-create and bring into being more than one thing. I don't think many of us will ever be focused completely on one thing and one thing only. You know, we might have a bigger picture that also involves lots of smaller things. And so, yeah, there may be a priority for you, or there may be several things that you are trying to manifest and bring into being. Now, what I would suggest doing with this reading is taking a moment to, you may want to just press the pause button to do this, and then you can always rewind, but I would suggest taking a moment to sit and almost either write a mental list in, you know, just in your head, or write it down on paper, a list of the different areas of your life that you're manifesting. And then kind of maybe lean into the reading from the perspective of those different components, because I think you may well hear guidance in relationship to those different aspects of your world that you're manifesting. Okay, so and you may actually find yourself receiving different messages. Now, you are overall being asked to trust. Have faith, trust. I'm kind of feeling like for some of you in some areas, for some there is quite a significant flow forwards, and it's almost as though you're flowing forwards and yet you can't quite yet see the results. It's like the stay on course card. You've sown seeds, you've cultivated them, you've looked after them, but they haven't quite yet burst through, or they've been growing, but the fruit hasn't quite arrived or ripened yet. There's something that isn't quite there yet. And the danger is that we can interpret that as being a sort of a sign that it's not supposed to happen, you know, or again, if you're going from A to B and there's a, I don't know, you go to catch your train and it's delayed, you know, we could interpret that as, gosh, I probably wasn't meant to go today. Alternatively, we could interpret that as being sort of, actually, I'm probably meant to get the next train after all, because maybe that will take me to, you know, I'll arrive at a different time or a different place, or again, there'll be a diversion where I'll be shown something, or I could meet someone, or there could be a chance happening. So we can, the way we interpret things can cause us to proceed, or it can cause us to step back. Now, the reading here is actually suggesting that you do need to stay on course. So if stuff is arriving in your world that feels like it's blocking your progress, and as I said, break it down into the individual things that you are. This is fascinating. So I'm sorry, I often stop when, you know, that when wildlife comes into the garden. So one of my woodpeckers, I have 3 that come into the garden now, a family. We have a male and a female, and now a young one. Now the male has come into the garden. He's just on the tree, literally in front of me. Now woodpeckers speak of perseverance. Staying on course. They're really, really good at not just at pecking away at something. They work really, really hard, you know, to create a, you know, to dig into a tree trunk, for example. It's hard work, but they persevere and they keep going. What they also do is that they clean the bugs out from under the bark of the tree. You'll often see them, and they're not always tapping away building nests. They're actually getting out the insects. They get to the bottom of things. So they persevere, and they don't let a little thing stop them. They persevere and they keep going. I feel that's really quite a validation and an acknowledgement for us, actually, in this reading. Stay on course, have faith. Yeah, if your train is cancelled and you're rescheduled and you need to get the next one, it's kind of, this reading is suggesting get the next one. Trust that actually you weren't supposed to be on that particular train. It's that kind of thing. Progress is definitely around you. New opportunities, but possibly unexpected opportunities, are coming. Don't collapse yourself into the frustrations and the joys when something moves forwards. Try and keep yourself fairly level. You are definitely in a phase of transition, so whatever age, stage, phase of growth your manifestation is, it's excuse me, it's definitely on its way. You are in a space of transition. We have the 6 of Stars. We have the Rune of Harvest. It's going to happen. We have the Knight of Wands. This is kind of like, get out there and have a go. Don't hold back. What have you been dreaming of? You know, if there's, you know, this card speaks of, you know, join the drum circle you've always wanted to join. Join the choir you've always wanted to join. Go do something and have some fun. That might open a window of opportunity that is unexpected, that might lead to something. Everything in this reading is really suggesting that you are firstly needing to persevere. There is a promise here of success, but it's going to take a cycle to kind of get there. You're involved in a manifestation cycle. And you need to maintain your momentum, even if you can't yet see the results. You need to keep going. That's really, really clear. There's guidance and protection around you, which is really, really clear as well. So it's like there's a bigger picture. So if something isn't running smoothly, trust and keep going. If there are interruptions, as I said, if you end up, the phone never stops ringing on a day that you thought you had completely clear to do something and you don't get it done, don't panic, don't collapse yourself into those emotions. Just allow yourself to recognize there's some kind of a bigger picture here. Maybe the timing of something that you thought was going to happen isn't quite right, and it's better that it waits a short while for whatever reason. So just allow it. Allow the future to unfold. Actively and creatively work with it within the presence of now. But actually, whatever it is you are manifesting, it's on its way. This is really a really lovely reading of reassurance and very clear guidance coming through. Don't be fixed on the route. Trust, hold faith. You are in a space of transition. Stay on course and just go out there and have some fun at the same time. Try to achieve a balance. Don't again get frustrated if things aren't working. Again, you know, when you're trying to grow something, if we think of this rune sometimes tells the story of a farmer who was so impatient in wanting his crops to grow that he went out at night and tried to pull them up in order to get them to grow quicker. it's that kind of flavour. We need to learn some patience and trust that actually there is a natural cycle of evolution taking place here. Again, for those of you that are manifesting with the moon, do tune in to, you do check out my Facebook page, because I do post every single day now just a little picture, usually an image, which shows you exactly the phase of the moon and what sign she's in. And you know, for those of you who've been working with the Art of Manifestation Astro-Moon diary and journal, you'll know that they're very much about helping us to learn to work with the natural rhythms and cycles of the lunar phases. So a quick word on those. We expect to be putting up a pre-order page on the AZ's of Emotional Health store in our little store with a discount. And for next year's diaries and journals, any that are bought directly from us, I'm going to actually sign them all, so they'll be signed copies. So we hope to be doing a pre-order setup fairly soon. We won't be shipping out till September, but there will be a discount if you buy from us, and they will be signed. Having said that, there's postage from the UK, so it may be more effective to buy them from Amazon in your if you're in the States or Australia. But anyway, just to let you know, if you're on any of my email lists, I will email you as soon as that's up and running. So do check that out. Do check out the Facebook page for the daily postings of the moon cycles. And also the big 3 monthly readings that I did that run from July, August into September. I'm doing my readings in 3 monthly batches now for all signs, because they kind of tie us into the natural rhythms and cycles. They run from kind of equinox to solstice to equinox, and it gives us an amazing overview of how the incoming flow of energy is running. So again, I'll put links to all of this stuff in the information box and in the comments for phone users, so there'll just be a ton of links, but do check them out. You can, you know, click on them all to join or access whatever it is you want to out of the range of stuff that's there. And the big 3 monthlies, they're on both Vimeo or my own website, and there's overviews of for each sign as well on YouTube. So enough of all of that. This is really saying wholeheartedly, success, harvest is on its way, but there's something about allowing yourself to work with the natural rhythms and cycles of life itself, of the universe. There is guidance and protection around you. Kind of, I want to sort of say, continue to persevere and take action, and yet simultaneously get out of your own way. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, don't be worrying that it's not happening. You know, enjoy the journey. There's something really clear here, but there is a lot of promise here in this reading, but you do need to persevere, stay on course, and yet not be so fixed on a course that you sort of drive right past the doorway that the universe was trying to open for you. That's probably the best way of saying that. In the other two readings, it's interesting, I did some moving around and brought in some extra kind of energy. I don't feel like I need to bring anything else into this. It just feels magical. In fact, if I was going to bring in if I was going to bring in anything to add to the energy of this reading, it would probably be something like carnelian, because carnelian for me it's a stone that it gives us staying power. It kind of, yeah, it stops us from procrastinating. It gives us staying power. It sees us through to the finish line. It's got that sort of flavour to it. But I kind of want to bring in, I'd want to bring in some more playful energy as well. There's something about enjoying the journey. It's not just about constantly persevering. It's about persevering and enjoying what you are doing, and recognizing that there will be an abundance of experiences along the way that contribute to your capacity to reach that vision and to reach that success. Wonderful friends, so much love to you. This is a lovely reading for reading number 3 and the future. Really lovely. There is so much validation, acknowledgement, support, encouragement being offered to you here. Wonderful friends, so much love to you. Namaste.